Pooh Shiesty's daddy been a rat since '09, and his son a mice since 2022.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this was disguised as a traditional business meeting inside a recording studio, but then it turned into an ambush.
This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas, and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint.
The feds say the group robbed the victims of expensive jewelry and cash.
One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida at the offense location, which would put him in violation of his home detention condition.
He wore a GPS ankle monitor to the robbery. That's the sentence the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas read aloud at a press conference in front of the entire country. Electronic monitoring data placing Williams Jr. at the offense location. The federal government's own tracking device, the one strapped to his ankle as a condition of his freedom, logged his exact location inside that Dallas recording studio while the armed takeover was happening in real time. But before we get into the evidence, there's an irony at the center of this story that's almost too devastating to process. When Pooh Shiesty walked out of federal prison in October 2025 after serving roughly 3 years of a 63-month sentence, he sat down with XXL for his first major interview. And in that interview, he talked about Gucci Mane. He talked about watching Gucci come home from his own prison stretch and completely reinvent himself, how Gucci got disciplined, got physically fit, got his mind right, stayed focused, built something sustainable. He described Gucci as a blueprint. He said the transformation motivated him. He said he took notes. Within 3 months of that interview, Pooh allegedly walked into a Dallas recording studio, pulled out an AK-style pistol, and pointed it at the head of the exact man he said inspired that entire speech. You genuinely cannot write something that's cinematic. That's just real life. Pooh came home to a real lane. His first song out did numbers. People said he was going to flop. They were wrong. He had momentum, he had fan loyalty, and he had music that was landing. By every external measure, the comeback was working. He had everything in front of him. His full supervised release wasn't even projected to end until April 11, 2026. He was a matter of months away from walking completely free. No ankle monitor, no check-ins, and no government oversight. All he had to do was wait. Instead, on January 10, 2026, this allegedly happened. 3 music industry professionals flew into Dallas that afternoon. They bought their tickets, packed their bags, got on a plane to Texas the way any professional does when there's business to handle. One of those men was identified in the federal complaint by his initials, RD. Court documents confirmed those initials belonged to Radrick Delantic Davis, Gucci Mane, the man who built 1017 Records from nothing into one of the most recognizable labels in Southern hip-hop. The man who signed Pooh Shiesty when he was barely 20 years old and gave him a platform to become a star. As far as those 3 men knew, this was a legitimate business meeting. Pooh had been unhappy with his contract terms. He wanted out. A studio session was booked. They flew down to talk. When they arrived at the studio off Dallas Parkway and found it still closed, they bought some liquor, came back, settled in. They had no reason to be suspicious. According to the 32-page federal criminal complaint, 9 people were converging on that building, with a plan already locked in. Some had driven from Memphis. This wasn't improvised. Prosecutors named Pooh Lontrell Williams Jr. as the ringleader, the man who set up the meeting, built the trap, and organized the operation. The detail that makes it even harder to process: his own father was allegedly part of it from the beginning. Lontrell Williams Sr., known in rap circles as Mob Boss, is charged as a co-conspirator. According to the complaint, he was on the phone with the studio owner multiple times earlier that day, helping book and confirm the session. Not as a worried parent trying to slow things down, as an active participant. Surveillance cameras captured him outside the building, then walking inside at 3:28 p.m. Once inside, the victims were separated. Gucci Mane was taken into the recording room along with Pooh, his father, and Big 30, Rodney Wright Jr. The other two victims were held in the control room by the rest of the crew. Pooh pulled contract termination paperwork out of a bag and told Gucci to sign it. Gucci said no. He pushed back. He argued. The moment he refused, Pooh allegedly produced an AK-style pistol and pointed it at his head. Not something small, not something discreet. An AK-style pistol aimed directly at the man who built his career. Gucci signed. What other option did he have? A gun was in his face, 8 armed men were in the building, and his people were being held in the next room. Pooh then handed the signed contract directly to his father to review. His dad looked it over and told him the papers still needed to be dated, so Pooh forced Gucci to add the date. Big 30 pulled out his phone and recorded Gucci verbally stating out loud that he was releasing Pooh from the contract, documented on video at gunpoint. This was a procedure. Specific roles, specific steps. Father reviews documents. Big 30 records the verbal statement. Crew holds the other victims. One victim in the control room was choked to near unconsciousness. The federal complaint includes photographs of the injuries. Victims later told investigators they genuinely believed they were going to be executed in that room. The group also robbed them. Rolex watches, cash, a Louis Vuitton bag containing more watches, AirPods, Waltzows with Apple AirTags inside, a 1017 chain, earrings, and Gucci Mane's wedding ring. According to someone with alleged inside knowledge, they literally unscrewed the earrings out of his ears. The takeover lasted until approximately 4:50 p.m. Then they fled. And within hours, some of the defendants were already on social media, posting what appeared to be the stolen jewelry on their own verified accounts. That brings us back to the ankle monitor. Pooh had been released on supervised release with home confinement in Dallas. The conditions were clear and non-negotiable. Do not commit another federal offense. Do not possess a firearm. 2 rules. That's all it took to stay out. He allegedly broke both of them simultaneously, in the same room, with a GPS tracker strapped to his leg, broadcasting his coordinates to federal authorities the entire time. The ankle monitor was only the beginning of the evidence. His father rented the vehicle, a white Buick Enclave, that transported 9 people from Memphis to Dallas. His name is on the Hertz rental agreement. Cell phone records and license plate reader data confirmed the coordinated travel from Tennessee to Texas. Every tower ping and plate read timestamped and stored. Surveillance footage was recovered from the studio, a nearby Staples, and the hotel where defendants stayed afterward. Latent fingerprints from inside the studio matched at least 2 defendants. And the defendants posted the stolen jewelry on their own verified social media accounts the same evening, effectively handing prosecutors photographic evidence with their names attached. The morning after his Greyhound bus was used to travel back from Dallas to Memphis. Those records are subpoenaed and cited in the complaint. This case was built on evidence the defendants essentially handed the government at every single step. When the internet started asking who told, the conversation went where it always goes in hip-hop. The reality is that Gucci Mane, as one of the primary victims, identified Pooh, his father, and Big 30 by name, appearance, and their verified Instagram accounts during the investigation. That is a crime victim cooperating in the investigation of a crime committed against them. That is what you do when someone points a weapon at your head and takes your wedding ring. The day after the arrests, ZWAC 100 called into DJ Academic's live stream in front of 15,000 viewers and sent what he claimed was a federal memorandum of plea agreement dated April 15, 2009, allegedly showing that Pooh's father, Lantrell Williams Sr., had agreed to provide substantial assistance to the federal government under the 5K 1.1 Cooperation Clause. He extended the claim to Pooh himself, alleging cooperation since his 2022 Florida firearms case, where 3 serious counts were dropped, and his sentence came in below what prosecutors initially sought. What needs to be clear? WAC has been making these same claims since February 2022. Every single time, Pooh's attorney Bradford Cohen has called them 100% fake news and a straight mistruth, with no change in position. No mainstream outlet, not AP, not Rolling Stone, not XXL, has independently verified the 2009 paperwork. Federal 5K 1.1 documents are frequently sealed and not publicly accessible. The allegations are explosive, they are widely shared, they are unverified. Weeks before the Dallas incident, Pooh had posted his own court paperwork on Instagram, publicly denying any cooperation and invoking the code of silence. He staked his reputation on it. Then he allegedly went to Dallas. As of April 3, 2026, no trial date has been set. All defendants are presumed innocent. But the evidence in that 32-page complaint is not a thin stack. The U.S. Attorney stated each defendant faces a potential sentence of up to life in federal prison under the kidnapping statute. Committing this crime while on supervised release is an aggravating factor that carries serious weight at sentencing. The FBI raided the family home in Cordova, Tennessee on April 1, 2026 at 6 in the morning with flashbangs, computer equipment, evidence bags, every vehicle in the garage searched. Whatever they were looking for, they have it now. Pooh had the music, he had the momentum, he had months left until he was completely free. He sat in an interview and called the man he'd allegedly victimized an inspiration. The direction of this story was decided the moment that Ankle Monitor logged his location in that Dallas studio. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WAC 100 paperwork is real? And what do you think happens in that courtroom? Subscribe for every update as this case moves forward.